Welcome to the Dive In. I'm your host, Kathleen, and today's guest is Akash.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's actually morning here. I am. I've got two coffees, guys. I got a big mustache. I got my latte with a straw, big boba straw, because other straws are baby straws, and I hate them. I want the most amount of liquid in the shortest amount of time. And then I got my new espresso cup.
Yes.
Thank you. It has espresso in it. If you can't see, there it is. Today's coffee comes to us from Jacksonville, Florida, by Long Road Coffee. I'm drinking their Papua New Guinea blend. It's very cool. It goes through a cool process, but this is not a coffee podcast. This is a movie podcast where Kathleen texts us that we have homework, like we're high schoolers, and then you have panic attacks, and you're like, oh shit, what if I get an F on the homework? I am an adult. The grades don't matter.
If you get an F, it's going to be on the internet for everyone to see. So,
I am an Indian man. I am from East Asia. I can't have an F. I'll get disowned. But this was interesting because this is our second time. Well, we've only really done a prequel. We haven't done a sequel thing. We've done like Fast and Furious and Furiosa, but we haven't done not Fast and Furious, Mad Max. But this is our first time watching.
I didn't even question it.
Yeah, I didn't. This is the first time doing that, right?
I think so with us. Yeah. I think in general, yeah. For everyone listening, if you don't know, for some reason, we are going to talk about Alien Romulus, but I asked Akash also to watch Aliens. I sat through all of the movies with the exception of Alien versus Predator and Alien versus Predator Requiem, because after watching Resurrection, there was no way I was watching those because I heard those were even worse somehow. And I did not want to put Akash through that pain.
Wait, your initial reaction to what? Alien? I thought we decided we liked that movie.
No, Alien. No. So I watched all of the Aliens. All of them.
Okay.
So
how did you find this time to do that with all the other movies you watch?
It took me weeks. Like I literally would download them onto my phone and then watch them on the train on the way to and from work because I have an hour commute one way. So that is how I watched this.
Okay, first of all, the homework you gave me was 2 movies.
Yes.
I watched them.
Yes.
I get an A.
Yes.
You didn't tell me there was extra credit.
No, because that would be detention. That wouldn't be
I don't
homework.
think I understand school.
That would be detention if I made you watch those. They were like, so they're like Alien, the third one is Alien
3, right?
Alien, yeah, I think it's just Alien 3. But that one was so bad that there was like the CGI of the alien at one point, there was a door shutting and you see the alien running and like naturally like something running, the door shutting, it would go down, but it glitched down. Like it physically glitched down. I will find the video, record it, probably horrible quality, but I will put it in here just so that people can see how badly this alien, the CGI alien glitched. It was so bad.
So I weirdly told a friend, a coworker of mine, that I was watching Alien and Aliens, Aliens and Alien Romulus.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes to proceed to tell me that Alien is his favorite franchise of all time. Like the man has put money to a Kickstarter, stuff like that.
Wow. Okay.
And I told him the only Alien movies I've seen are the ones that my friend Kathleen bullies me and makes me watch horror movies, and she knows how great I am with horror movies. So he goes to tell me that he's like, oh, wait till you get to Alien 3. And I was like, oh, please don't spoil anything. He's like, no, there was like a bunch of different screenplays for Alien 3. There was a lot of studio getting involved and messing things up. They went through like 3 or 4 directors and all kinds of stuff and different cuts. And apparently the director's cut and the normal cut of Alien are totally different movies. And recently, the original screenplay writer for Alien 3, I say recently, I think in the last couple of years, he released a book, which is the theatrical release of Alien 3 original screenplay or something like that just happened. So when we get to Alien 3, I think we'll have a lot to talk about, but I'm not going to talk about something I don't know about. So I'm out of that.
I don't even remember. Oh no, I remember Alien 3. It was
Alien 3, the unproduced screenplay by William Gibson, release date September 7th, 2021.
So it was just a weird movie. It just kind of uh, I'm like, without spoiling anything, Alien 3 was very like crash lands on this planet, kills off every or
We can just let's do this one. There's so much to these movies.
okay, let's skip Alien 3.
It's so annoying with like which one do you want to start with?
Alien 3, Alien 4 were bad. Let's just say that. There's also there's two more prequels, soon to be a third one because there's a trilogy, Prometheus, Alien Covenant, and then whatever this third one that's supposed to be released. I
Wait, didn't Romulus just come out? Romulus isn't part of this?
No, Alien Romulus happens between Alien 1 and Alien 2, which is why I wanted you to watch Alien 2.
Yes.
But
which one are we talking about first then?
We'll get to that in just a second because I got to finish my thought if I can find it. I probably should have had you watch Prometheus. And that is my bad for not. Because Prometheus gives the origin story of the Xenomorph, which, by the way, the term Xenomorph until Alien Romulus was only used one time that I could count, that I remember, that I recall through the entire franchise.
It was used in Aliens.
One time.
Oh, that's it. They don't use that term again.
Yeah, like it literally is not in any other things. I think they used it in Romulus, but I was like, I don't know. I think they also used a different term than just Xenomorph, but
that is surprising to me.
So someone correct me. I guess a lot of deleted scenes have it, but not the actual cuts.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thoroughly surprised by that. I'm gonna let you lead off because how are we talking about these?
Let's go in release order. So let's start with Aliens. I am curious your thoughts on it in comparison to Alien. I mean,
it's a different genre.
Yeah, it's very much a different, like the music was so different. So this one's directed by James Cameron, not by Ridley Scott. I guess Ridley Scott wasn't even asked, from what I could find. He wasn't even asked to come back to do the second one, which is interesting because he won an Oscar for the first one. Or I guess not him personally, but the movie won an Oscar. This one ended up winning 2 Oscars after James Cameron directed it. But
this won 2 Oscars?
They won 2 Oscars. Yeah, I think like effects and let me look.
Okay, that's fair.
It was effects and something else. Let's see. But was it score?
Best Academy Awards. Best visual effects, best sound editing, best actress.
Nominated.
Oh, okay. Yeah. There we go. Here we go. Here's the wins.
Yeah. Best sound effects and best visual effects. Yeah.
Overall, it won 20 awards across different things.
Yeah. No, I thought it was a really great movie. I guess I did have to like go back through and watch like a little bit of a in-depth. I listened to another podcast where they talked about aliens and they like explained how it was about motherhood, which I see now. I did not get the first time that I watched it through, but that was just because I was more focused on like the effects and things of that nature and how like everything that I loved about
character development. Character development. No, show me laser guns.
Well, like the CGI was a little bit like you could tell that they were using a lot more CGI than in the first one. Like the effects weren't. I didn't think they were nearly as good. Like when this ship was coming down, I was like, oh, I can tell this is different. I can tell someone else did this. Everything I loved about the first one, like the scoring, keeping everything dark, not really seeing the full alien, all that stuff kind of went out the window. I was like, wow, everything I loved is gone. And then yeah, they focused a lot on her femininity in this one, which in the first one I appreciated a lot because it didn't matter that she was male or female in the first movie at all. And in this one they did focus more on the femininity of it. But like I said, as I listened to like other podcasts talking about how it represented motherhood and like she found out that her daughter had already passed. And so then she kind of had that surrogate daughter throughout this movie. I was like, okay, I guess it makes more sense to call into her femininity than not to.
This movie was interesting because to me, I don't disagree with any of your statements you made. However, I don't think I enjoyed this movie nearly as much as the first. And the reason for that, I think, because I don't mind older movies. No, nothing with that. This was not on. I thought the scenes they did were good. However, it seemed at times to me they were trying to bring that horror aspect back with their quick cuts and things like that, which didn't seem to fit into the story being told. Like in the manner in which we'd seen a bunch of the scenes and things like that, I don't think worked. I think it was more of a space war than a space horror. This film, we waited a long time. There was a lot of buildup. However, the buildup wasn't in a horroristic sense. So you talking about like from a motherhood standpoint, I agree. I think I see what I didn't catch that at first. I wasn't like the main theme is motherhood. However, it very much to me felt more like a political thriller,
Hmm. Yeah, like bringing in the military and stuff.
bringing in the company and stuff like that, and the military and colonial Marines. Am I saying that right? Yeah, the colonial Marines. They were depicted to be these guys, and there were some new ones in the squad, absolutely. But they were depicted to be this, and they'd seen combat and stuff like that, and they just broke rank and file right away. Like right away, they broke it as if they were like a new squad. Which so that took away because in the when we're introduced to them, they have like the oorah, the great camaraderie. They're busting each other's balls, all this jazz, and like they make them likable characters, which is good. That's the point. You're supposed to like these characters, and then they kill them. Horror movies, like that's what it is. However, it was interesting to see that it happened quickly. Like it's like, hey, here's 25, 30 minutes of these guys. It's like let's kill them in 3.
Yeah, they were pretty quick off the gun to do that. I mean, first of all, I mean, I guess we could talk about the story a little bit. Like they were there to um to go back to the planet that Ripley had been on where the xenomorphs were because they started
Mm-hmm.
terraforming there an entire colony and they lost contact with them. I don't know how long. I think they said that they had terraformed like 20 years prior. So I'm sure
Yeah, 25 years.
yeah, something like that. And so I'm curious why it took them so long to find the xenomorphs or what they were doing with them, honestly.
I think
Um,
they were studying them as always.
yeah, yeah. So that's why she's traveling there with the Marines. But they um
And
sorry,
Burke
go ahead.
and Burke. Burke was there.
Burke, who is the guy
Company
from the
man.
company. Yeah. That's one thing I didn't like was like every like little shroud of mystery that we had. We didn't know what they wanted from the xenomorphs. We didn't know who the company was. We didn't know
Money.
like we barely knew what the aliens were. And then in the second one, they were just like, we're gonna study the aliens, we're gonna bring in the military, we're gonna bring in the company, we're gonna like give you so much exposition, we're gonna talk about Ripley being a female.
They
The,
actively said they were going to kill them all when they hired Ripley on to lead them back to that place. Like she was like, "You're going there to kill him, right?" And he's like, "Yes."
no, but he was lying.
Of course he was lying. Of course he was lying. But I'm like, that's what they said. Like that's what you have Marines there.
Yeah, no, they're not there. Like
There was
even
not a single scientist with those Marines, by the way, besides Rook.
the yeah, Rook.
No, not Rook.
No,
What
Rook.
was? Are you sure?
Yeah, because Bishop's in the next one in Romulus. And that was like a whole thing was that they look the same, Rook and Bishop.
Oh yeah.
They're both yeah, both chess pieces.
Lance Henriksen played Bishop. So Bishop is in Aliens, and uh, Rook is in Romulus. Yes. Sorry, it is hard to remember the names.
Yeah, which I did hear that they did ask the family's permission to use his likeness in Romulus, and they
That's
said that
good.
they said that like, oh yeah, he would have loved that. So because I guess he passed away recently. Yeah. So that was great of them to ask. Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. Disney's got a. I think Disney technically owns Alien now, and
Oh, really?
so
Oh yeah, because it's all over. I've seen people complain because it shows up on the kids Disney Plus section.
yeah, so Marvel is making the Alien comics now. Like they're publishing it.
Oh, okay. So they're gonna do the exact same thing that they do with the current Marvel stuff, where they release a comic book a year before and then make it into a movie if people like it.
Uh, Sure, Marvel hasn't really been doing that, I think, in their run, but I think a lot of their runs recently have been dumb. Especially when you got rid of the X-Men Krakoa era. If you're listening, Marvel, Jonathan Hickman's run was amazing. How dare you do that to me?
Marvel, if you're listening, I want to be in one of your movies. I don't care what.
The different takes. It's like, how dare you do this to me? How dare you do this to Scott Summers and the X-Men? Moving on. This political thriller was very interesting to me because that's how I viewed it. And at no point did I think anything was bad. I was just comparing it to the first, and it being a completely different genre really like
Yeah,
threw me.
it was very different, a very, very extremely different feeling. And like I said, like the music was so different, like in the timing as well. Because I think one thing I mentioned in the first, when we talked about Alien, was that they didn't play music when something scary was about to happen. They would do it like before or after, and then there would be silence during the scary parts. And then in this, they did the music. They do what all horror movies do, where they play the music up when something scary is happening. And I was like, that was the one thing I liked. I liked that difference that they had in that first one. And I think they definitely did a lot more practical effects when Ridley Scott was directing versus with James Cameron. I also did hear there was a lot of contention on set when James Cameron was there, and yeah. So yeah, he had like a hard time directing and said that he did not want to go back to London or something to film again. I don't know.
Interesting.
Hearsay.
I was just looking up this, but so Alien, the original music was composed by Jerry Goldsmith and Lionel Newman, and then Aliens was composed by a completely different man. It was composed by James Horner, and so he was in like, and these are the people that composed and were in charge of it. So that's who it was, and then James Horner, and then Alien 3 has a completely different person as well. So there are just different people doing that. Like every single Alien movie I see on here has had a different music person.
Different music, different director every single time. I think Sigourney Weaver was like the one constant. I was like, why would you stay? Like she almost didn't do Aliens. And she had like three asks of there's like famously three asks that she asked for in Aliens, which none of which was put in there.
Really?
Yeah, because they're very, very weird. Oh gosh, I'm trying to think of what they are. Like one of them is that she sleeps with an alien, which did not happen. Another one, no guns, which also did not happen. What was the third ask?
Oh, I have no idea about that. I really love doing this podcast, everyone listening, because it's like I'm over here like I watched a movie and I am the layman. I'm like, oh yeah, the direction was cool. The scene like this, cool, nice. And then Kathleen's over here like, did you notice this thing about motherhood and this thing I found with this? And I'm like, what is it? And my mind is blown every time. And now I'm learning the Sigourney Weaver, wonderful lady, like had three asks, and one was sleeping with a xenomorph.
Sleeping with a xenomorph, no guns, and that she had to die. None of which happened, but yet she still did the film.
That's amazing. Those are also three ridiculous asks.
Yeah, I don't know how
How
true.
could she sleep with a xenomorph? It's 1986.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't
Also,
know how
is
valid or I don't know if
is
that's
this a
just like
rated R movie?
probably if it's
Aliens.
the first
Yeah,
one
it's rated
was.
R. Rated
Yeah.
R. Interestingly enough, So this is just off of Google. I'm not trying to pretend I know something. Google shows Alien as a sci-fi slash horror. Aliens is listed as horror slash action.
Interesting. I would not put Aliens as horror.
I would put it as an action movie. Action is a great, I think, political thriller slash action, because there is thrilling parts of it, like lead up, like, so I would say it's still classified in my opinion as a thriller. I know there's not like a mystery thing, but like I think it's close enough. But however, I think Alien was a horror movie.
Yeah. Like this lacked that I don't know, like there's I don't want to use the word jump scare, but like there really wasn't any anything that was I like remotely. It was words are hard this morning.
It is
Um,
very early, everyone
it
listening.
is. Yeah, I'm sorry. I have plans, so I had to make this early. But and by very early, he means 10 a.m., y'all.
I have 2 coffees right now. I don't want to hear it. I slept great. I had a great night's sleep. I don't know. I'm
I,
fine.
I I did as well. I cut my usually Friday nights I'm out till like 3 a.m. But I was home
Terrifying.
by midnight.
I was
So
home. I was also asleep by midnight. Yes.
um no, it was just more story based than anything else, and less about like just there being a horrifying creature on your ship or planet or whatever. Like it was so much more story driven.
It's interesting because aliens, like, they introduced Newt, the girl, the young girl, who fantastic acting, by the way, as she did. Like, she honestly was great. She very much acted like a girl that had been running around hiding from aliens. Like, she didn't want to speak. Like, I thought they did that. If that was James Cameron, that was incredibly well done, portraying someone that's gone through trauma like that. And like Sigourney Weaver's character and the motherhood concept you brought in earlier, I think that showed wonderfully. It was very, it was really dumb how the people in charge ran the crew though, and basically got everyone killed almost instantaneously. And they weren't listening to Ripley, and they're like, Ripley, why are you doing the Ripley? I'm like, she's the only one that she's giving you all of this information. And it's like, I understand she's a girl, I understand she's a woman, and like whatever they want to do and things like that. However, as far as like military operations go, all information is important.
Yeah. How
And
did
these
you
guys were the premier military people. They're the colonial marines. Like, they have an adjective in front of it.
yeah. How did you feel about Rook in this one? Like, did you think that they were gonna make him another evil android, or did you think that
Bishop is in this one. Lance, yeah, Bishop is aliens. Rook is alien
okay.
Romulus.
How did you feel about Bishop being in this one? Did
I
you
don't know
think
why they're
that
named
he was
after chess
gonna
pieces.
I don't know either. Well, it kind of makes sense because it's the game that you're playing. Like this is all a game by the company, so it's their Bishop, it's their Rook. It's
Damn, that was deep. We're playing with lives up in space over here. Bishop to Rook 2. That's awesome. I like that you like leaned back in your white coat while saying it like that. That was baller.
It was, I mean, to me, it's obvious. Like, it's very straightforward. Like, they literally named them. That's like being like, oh, her name is Doctor because she's the doctor. Like, I don't know.
Honestly, yo, I never made the connection between Rook and Bishop until I said that and you said that. I had never made that connection. I've never thought of these androids more than 2 times.
Oh, I've thought
I
about the androids a lot, but
I thought this time it was interesting because this movie takes place 50 years in universe, like 50 something years after the first. So what's interesting to me here is that they have made it so they said they have made it so androids can no longer harm human beings, and that the old models did have a lot of these issues. So it's interesting to see because she was not about him at all, which rightfully so. But it was bordering on racism. Like, it was absolutely bordering on racism
yeah. But well,
because he's a
the
synthetic is the term.
is he a synthetic or is he an android? Because there's a term and I can't remember what term it was, but the essentially the androids can make their own androids and they have a different term because they look more human.
Synthetic or artificial persons, as they are preferred to be called, are biomechanical androids. It's that's what the alien anthology Wikipedia tells me.
Okay, cool. Well, the synthetic, I don't know what I was saying.
I didn't think he would betray. So I thought they would betray him, but I thought that would be a really like low hanging fruit to utilize. So I'm glad they didn't do that. But also, I'm like, if he had, I wouldn't have been surprised because when the ship wasn't there, I was like, yo, Bishop. But it's also like he's a robot. Why does he care about life and death?
Yeah, I think oh I
Did you
have
just
it.
say they can reproduce? Is that a thing you
No,
said
no,
just
no,
now?
built. They
Oh,
can
okay.
build their own. Yeah. So they started building their own because I think they stopped creating them at all. in the future in a different Alien movie, and we're not going to talk about. An Alien 4, they mentioned that. Yeah.
There's so much to this universe that
Oh my gosh. No, it is ridiculous how much I think the best comparison that I've heard about the Alien franchise is kind of like Friday the 13th. Like there's just everyone loves the movies, but they're all kind of out all over the place. You're like, how many times can Jason Voorhees die? Like, how many times can Sigourney Weaver and the Xenomorph come back? Like, yeah. And now like it's so much, oh my gosh, so anyways, I have comments about Romulus, and I wish I'd made you watch Prometheus because of it, but I'm going to say them anyways later.
that's fine.
Yeah. Um,
So I did find a fun fact though. They use the word fuck 25 times in this film. We're far enough in where I can say that. They use it 20, and 18 of them are spoken by Hudson. Yeah. Like literally Private Hudson, just when he's freaking out, he's just yelling fuck.
is he the one that
That he wanted to die but lived until way later. Yeah.
no, is he the one that would shout, oh, there was
We're
so
gonna die,
many.
man. We're all gonna die.
Yeah, yes, that one. He was great. I will say they had a lot of like I sat there the entire time. I was like, wait, I recognize these people. Like the whole time I was
Oh
they got
yeah, they
some
all went on to have
huge,
pretty
yeah.
good careers.
Yeah. Oh gosh. I'm trying to, yeah, like Bill Paxton, that's who it was.
Yep, that
Yeah.
was Bill Paxton.
Yeah. It's just crazy that people don't realize, I don't think people realize so many big stars start out in horror movies, and I love it. Like Jennifer Lawrence,
I'm
she did a
people I
horror
didn't know.
movie.
I had
What?
no idea. I didn't know. Like my world has been opened because of this. It was really interesting to see though that the guy that played Burke, Paul Reiser, he played Burke. He did play a really good like douchebag. Like he walked a really good line where you're like, oh, he's a good guy. He's like trying. It's like, oh no, you suck. And he did that really quick, and he like betrayed them like 3 times, and I'm like, how has nobody shot this man? Like, I'm sorry if there are monsters coming at me, and I know it's like, oh, we gotta band together and fight against the monsters. No, get rid of the traitor.
Yeah, no, because I mean, up until the very end, he was throwing them all under the bus. Like he had one thing in mind, 100%.
Oh,
And he
absolutely.
was like, I mean, the end of the movie, like literally was trying to get or not even the end, like towards the middle of the movie, he was trying to get oh gosh, Ripley
Yep,
and Newt like to
killed.
have
Yeah.
not killed. No, he wanted them to be impregnated
Im-
by the xenomorph, and then cryo freeze them so that he could get them to Earth.
oh yeah, I forgot that was what he wanted to do, and I'm like, disgusting. Honestly, like disgusting things. Like I think Newt would have been like what 10.
Yeah, yeah,
I really thought she was dead. I really thought they were gonna kill the girl.
yeah. I will say it was a different approach in this one, having like the cocoons and stuff like that, like having them.
They didn't
And
kill him right away. They brought him to an, but like we never really saw the other one was a young one though. Like in the
oh, in the
first
first
movie,
one,
like
yeah,
that was like not even a fully grown one.
yeah, it was weird that they brought on the concept of like kind of like the queen, almost like a beehive, and then they literally did build a beehive, and then they would just cocoon all these people.
Which I don't know what they
To
built it out of.
I think it comes out of the queen, is from what I'm gathering. Like they secrete something, and it creates their environment. It's very bee-like, like it's kind of like how a beehive is created, I think.
It is absolutely, and they had they had royal freaking guards, like, and you saw like with their heads were slightly different, and then the queen, like I read because I was curious, like I was like, that's not like one person in an outfit. It took 14 to 16 operators to bring the queen to life.
Dang, yeah, that's insane. Like that was a practical effect. That one was massive.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely. She was not small, and she was disgusting.
yeah. Um,
Which well done. I but like at the end of it, like we survive with Bishop's dead. I think they saved half of him. And like cryo freezed him. Ripley's cryo freeze, Newt's cryo freeze, and Corporal Hicks is alive and very wounded. That man was tired. He needed that morphine shot or whatever he got at the end to go to bed. And then, oh my God. So during the scenes for the, I just saw this, during the scenes where Ripley is carrying Newt around, they constructed a lightweight dummy model for the Queen chase for her to carry around because like a person would be too, well, she can't just be throwing Newt around. Like she can't be throwing the kid around the whole time.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Yeah. Um, yeah. Overall though, I do think I think it was a great movie overall. I do prefer Alien over Aliens. I feel like just as a horror movie in general, Alien had all the things that I love about a good horror movie, and Aliens was more story and thriller based than anything. Like it's like they just took the story and were like, let's add all this exposition and make it more about that. And I mean, it definitely built out the world more, which I kind of appreciate, like learning more about the aliens, but I like the shroud of mystery around it a little bit.
It, I agree. I disagree. I have nothing to add to that. I think that sums it up wonderfully, honestly.
Yeah.
Overall, this movie seems more to me at the end of it as an exposition dump. Like it's very much like, look at this alien creature and more information from it. Look at this mysterious company.
Yeah, they wanted to do a lot of world building in this. Like they gave us more information about Ripley, more information about the company, information about synthetics, and information about the alien. Like they really yeah, they did a lot of world building in this.
It really did, but like I'm really glad they didn't like show us more of Ripley's past because it doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't. Yeah. Like
Like
they
I
were
think it would have been bad if they brought too much of it in. Apparently, they use her real life mom's photo in the little mom being deceased thing. That was her real life mom's photo.
oh, that was her mom. That was supposed to be her daughter in the photo.
It's her real life mom.
Okay. That's pretty cool though. Yeah.
Yeah. That was supposed to be her daughter. I totally didn't read that screen.
Yeah, because they I think they said her daughter died.
Oh,
Because
that
it'd
makes
been
a lot
50
more
years.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Everything makes sense now. Also, Ripley, she was like a second in command of a vessel in the first movie. And then in this meeting with people that are way superior to her, she just starts yelling and going crazy. And I'm like, girl, you need to be as like properly able to like say things. And it's like, yeah, are you going over it 3 times? Yes. But like, that's what you have to do. And now you don't get a payout. You could have gotten a great payout.
Yeah. And they kind of like she got a major demotion like job wise.
Oh, she like
Um
basically like they didn't give her a referral. Like they were like, get the fuck out.
yeah, in the very beginning. And then which I'm also I get a little bit as to why she would like be lower ranked after because it's been 50 years. Technology, like the way our technology changes, I can't imagine what we're gonna have in 50 years. So I can't imagine in a world where space is such a thing that technology changes. This is the one thing I didn't like was the
I really
technology.
hope, I really hope we can go back in 50 years and rewatch you saying this clip.
Oh, yeah. Well, okay. So I've thought about this a lot when it comes to the alien movies because there's a lot of time skipping because of cryo freezing. And I'm like, why isn't the technology changing enough for this time, for all these gaps in time based on like how fast our technology moves? But then I thought about it. I was like, well, if people are like light years apart, I guess technically speaking, the technology wouldn't catch up for many, many years anyways. So that might be why things aren't advancing quickly.
Different planets and all.
Yeah, like different planets, having to time travel for like years at a time, cryo freezing yourself, like that makes sense. But then also like there were some prequel movies that had nicer shit than the
I think
these
it depends on how
movies,
rich you
and
are in this world. I think it very
I
much
guess
depends on how
so.
rich. I
Yeah,
say
that
world
makes sense.
in this universe. Oh, my candle went out. That's fine.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I have a candle over here called Gamer.
What is it? I do I want to know what it smells like?
Sure. Pineapple, jasmine, coconut, and vanilla.
And that is not what I would imagine a gamer smells like.
All right. I don't like bad smelling things. I want to smell good all the time. That's why there's beard oil always in my mustache and my beard. Always nice smelling stuff. I do think this talking about like this world, this universe where it's always whoever has the most money goes right into Alien Romulus really well though. I want to see your candle though, because now I'm
Oh,
curious about your candle.
I was just gonna say that I had a candle lit earlier, but I'm on the pumpkin train right now because it is fall. I've got out my fall
Fall.
blankets. I've got out, hey, it is in the 70s here, thank you. So
We are so warm weather people.
and it's September, okay? It's almost fall. And I get to celebrate for 3 months. So orange is out right now. That's why this got pulled out. Like,
Orange is cool,
man,
man. Orange is
yeah.
cool. So is red. Like my espresso cup. No, I got
Um,
orange like right here. You can just see some of my orange shirts.
oh yeah. It does look
I
red to me, but
should we
yeah.
say our ranking of aliens, or should we talk about Alien Romulus and then do it all at the end and say if we get it on DVDs and things like that, etc.
We'll do that at the end.
Cool.
Yeah.
Alien Romulus was a horror movie.
It I I was not okay. I wasn't scared by any of the movies. I'm just gonna come out there and say that right now. I didn't find any of them scary. So when people say it's horror, I'm like, I wasn't scared. Um,
I I think the genre is what I'm talking of.
I can see like how it could be perceived as scary, or horror. Not scary, but like as a horror, I guess. But yeah, it was I felt like they were taking this maybe. Yeah, I want to hear what your thoughts first. Let's go with your thoughts first.
I feel like you want my thoughts because I don't watch a lot of horror movies.
Yeah, I want to hear your uninhibited thoughts.
I think they did I think they did really good in this movie with the characters and age range they chose because a bunch of teenagers being absolute fucking idiots and dying makes total sense. And the actors were so good because I wanted them dead because they were so annoying. And I was like, that's good acting. It's really good acting when you make me hate you.
Yeah, I will say they were in their early 20s, not their teens, but
They were not. Are you serious?
mhm.
Oh,
I'm
wow.
almost certain, like the recap that I just watched said that the main character was like 20 something, like 22 or 21.
Hold on. That changes so much for me. That changes. Hold on. No way. Okay. So, okay, the main character, her age is in her 20. Okay, so 25. Oh, well, it was 25 during filming. Yes. Rain is said to be 25 years old. So, Rain was said to be 25 in Alien Romulus before the movie's release, but it turns out that subtle detail confirms she's younger, 2021. So, Rain is 21. So, these kids are like 20, like they're like
Or like fresh
20
up,
to
like college age kids, which is still young.
some of them were teenagers because the younger sister, she was probably like 19, 20
The
max.
the yeah, but she's also pregnant. You think she's gonna sit there and be like, I'm so excited I got pregnant by some rando guy and be a teenager?
In the world they lived in, I think so, honestly. They lived in a really bad planet, man.
Well,
You
yeah, they
couldn't see the
did.
sun. She was excited to see the sunlight, man.
I must have like
That changes so much. I thought these kids were like 17. I thought these were like 17, 18, and like the older brother was like maybe 19. Them being 21 and like 22. Oh, I'm really glad they all died.
I okay, I do have a
They
question.
would not have survived in the real world. They would not like if they had gotten to Freeland, they would
Yeah.
have been like, I can do this, and they're like, get the fuck out. Like I wouldn't have let those kids onto my colony. Are you kidding me? Like, what are you talking about? Besides the one girl that could fly a plane, they were all useless.
Fair.
Like there was not one name one active skill one of them had besides being able to fly.
Mm, they could make terrible decisions.
That's actively not a skill. That's the opposite of a skill. But legitimately, in because I guess I would compare this to Alien, the first one, and we can go into the references and Easter eggs. But in that, I think Ripley's like 30. I think Ripley starts as like 30 something. I'm guessing she has a daughter and stuff. Like, isn't she Ripley age alien? 30. She's 30. So and the crew there had skills. Like we had engineer, we had like they had active skills to do. This was literally just a bloodbath, is what happened in this movie, including some scenes that were terrifying. Not even terrifying in like I was scared, terrifying in the don't let me see my virgin eyes. Like,
Oh, yeah,
yes, we
like
can get to
the
those. Yes,
uh
yeah.
yeah. There were I have some comments about that, and I don't know if they're gonna be.
Also, like they were like super mean to Andy when he was like still like like kind of
Yeah,
defective,
just
and
because he was a synthetic. Yeah.
yeah, specifically the one I forget was it wasn't Tyler Bjorn he was played by Spike Fern, who fantastic acting. Like let me be clear here, like fantastic acting. He very much was like, oh, like you're like this and that, and I'm like, bro, you're literally picking on, and they are synthetic, I understand, but his prime directive was to like keep like his sister in the story safe, and it's like you're being, and like none of his friends like calling him out enough, like besides Rain. I was like, honestly, if my friends are like picking like, and they are friends, they're freaking trying to steal spacecraft stuff together, so they're best friends obviously. But if I saw someone picking on my friend that's like a little slower or something like that, or even if they're not my friend, just some, I'd be pissed. I'd be angry. Like, and no one was angry. Everyone was just like, whatever, it's not a person. And I'm like, you guys have known this person, this synthetic for years at this point.
Yeah, but I mean, I think there's always been a little bit of divide when it comes to synthetics. I mean, even in the
Mm-hmm.
first one, like they didn't know that he was synthetic, so they were hiding that. And when Ripley found out, she was already very,
Oh yeah, you're no, you're
yeah,
totally right.
like
They were
there's
like,
definitely a drift between them. And then they said that between the first and the second movie is when they made it so that they can no longer harm humans. But obviously, this guy was still impacted from before that happened because the synthetics, what was it? It was like it chose to save, which Chekhov's gone, chose to save a bigger amount of people instead of his parents or something like that, or his sister. Yeah, like it was something along those lines. So it, which of course comes back later in the film, but yeah, that's kind of like you got to do what's best for the greater good kind of scenario. So technically, like, no, it wasn't trying to cause harm, but it's still like a human would still have to make that kind of decision. Like it's unfair to blame a synthetic just because he didn't have emotion when making that logical decision. Like,
it's very interesting because like Andy saves him from falling down like the little acid hole thing. And he changes his tone right away. He's like, oh, so blah, blah, blah. And then he pushes him after he just saved your life. Dude, you almost just died, Bjorn.
yeah. Which, oh, that one scene though with the acid, oh, like how it goes through the person.
I I think it was perfect. I
No,
think
it was great. That
I
was
was I wasn't even like I was like, yeah, fucking die, Bjorn.
that was like one of the first times that they
He was such an idiot.
allowed someone to die from the acid blood, which was such a great idea. But man, it was painful to watch.
No, no, in Aliens, Drake, Private Drake, because he was shooting them and the blood
Oh, when it was
got the
dripping on his
acid and
face.
it like melted half his face off.
But it didn't kill him. That's not what killed him.
I mean, there was a lot of aliens there. He died. Private Drake was eaten alive. Um, but yeah, Bjorn. Also, he just laid there.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, but also kind of like once you get acid on you, it doesn't stop. It keeps like
No,
it
no,
keeps
absolutely. It like
yeah,
did this, but then like it got onto his chest,
yeah,
and then he went
yeah.
and like also
Which
like
I do
that
feel like
was
the acid blood in this one had a little bit different rules than the other one because in Alien, the first one, it only went to a certain point before it like reached its
that was only a couple of
half-life or
drops
whatever.
though. It was only a couple of drops, whereas in this one there was a
True.
lot of blood everywhere.
True, but yeah, it's like it reached the end of its life a lot quicker than because it didn't go all the way through the ship. And then this one, I feel like they were concerned about it going all the way through the ship.
That was because they were on the bottom level when they had the guns. They
Oh,
were on like the
okay.
lowest level. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, okay.
So that's why. But yeah, I see. I think there was a larger amount this time for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I think they did a lot of cool stuff, like CGI wise, in this one as well as practical effects. I think they were practical effects. I could be
Yeah,
wrong.
they had like physical face huggers and stuff, which was really
Yeah, which
yeah.
was really cool. I thought they did. They made the face huggers terrifying in this one. Like in the first movie, they used like you can't find it, you can't see it. In this one, it was like I'm gonna get you, I'm gonna get you.
Okay, so I don't know about you, but every time I see a face hugger, I think of horseshoe crabs. Like I just they just make me think of horseshoe crabs every single time. I
It make me think of this thing when you do your hands like this.
Oh yeah, yeah. They do have fingernails. Uh
That was interesting. I didn't realize that. I thought they were just like bony appendages.
yeah. They yeah, so if in Prometheus, well, okay, let's keep going through this maybe.
Sure.
Um
I
yeah.
which part do you want to talk about? Because I think talking about how the original, so this takes place right after Alien, like 20 something years. So this is my understanding, and you can tell me if your understanding is the same. Original Alien is a badass. Survives getting kicked out of an airlock, lands back on the original ship, crashes original ship into a colony or something, or gets picked up by this floating colony that is Romulus and Remus. Fantastic naming scheme because of the twins and things and blah, whatever. And then proceeds to cannibalize and murder people until they eventually kill it, and or like it they cryo did something to it to get the black goo and test on things, but it gets free, starts murdering people. Face huggers get made somehow. I don't know how they made the face huggers. I don't know if that alien was able. I don't know what was going on there. So there had to be an alien queen somewhere, or like, and I don't know what was going on. There's a lot of like mystery stuff, which is fine. It doesn't matter. You don't have to show me. Like better scary than not. But that means they had to pick up where did they get all these face hugger kind of things from, you know?
Yeah, so there is gosh. Um so I'm just sticking with strictly Romulus. There I was very confused when they first came across the ship, and maybe I just wasn't paying enough attention in the beginning. Um, but like it looks so much like what had happened, and I think because of the synthetic looking the same as the other one, um, it threw me off because I was like, this isn't the ship from Aliens because that hasn't chronologically happened yet. But it looks so much as to like what happened with all the
The
labs and
ship from
the
Aliens or Alien?
aliens because the ship from Alien got blown up. So I like sat there, I was like, I know it's not the ship from Aliens, but this looks a lot like it. And I was kind of getting like vibes like from the thing, when the prequel of the thing, they're both called the thing, but the prequel version of it, when they like I was like, are we gonna go back and see what happens? Like not in this movie, but maybe in another one, like they'll call it Alien Remus. But
Call it Alien Remus.
why not?
I mean, fair enough. Like you're not
Yeah.
wrong.
Yeah. But so I just sat there, I was like, did this happen in another movie that I've already watched? And I was trying to put it together and it didn't. Like none of it
It didn't
we
like
got to
click right.
see. Yeah, like because I had binge watched all of these movies, so my brain was like, wait, we're confused now because there's so much alien input in my brain, and I'm trying to parse where this scene is set from, and it wasn't set from anything. Like we did not see what happened to these people, not directly. Uh, so it was very it was interesting to like try to uncover that as we went, but I feel like they didn't do a very good job explaining like I feel like they could have uncovered what had happened a little bit better than like just immediately there's just hundreds of face huggers just appearing and them just trying to escape it and yeah.
Yeah, it very much like they got the black goo from the genes, from the blood and genes of this alien, which is fine, the xenomorph. However, like the face huggers is what throws me off because I know maybe from the original planet they got some, but it's like They haven't been to that planet yet, or technically they might have,
So,
because
okay, let me fill you in a little bit because there's a little bit that you don't know. So in Prometheus, which is the prequel, because there's
why is it
Prometheus.
called Prometheus? I understand the name, but like it doesn't. Why is it not Alien Prometheus?
I don't know. It's like the first one that Ridley Scott directed since Alien. So a lot of people were very excited. It's a very boring movie. Not a lot happens as far as
Exposition
Xenomorph.
dump.
Yeah, it's a lot of exposition. It's yeah, there's a lot of exposition pretty much. But it tells you how the xenomorphs came about. So essentially like there's like this black goo that's it's like a parasitic thing.
Do they
And
have a
then
name for it? Because in this movie they just said black goo.
I think I don't remember honestly, but they like take it and end up like inserting it into this guy. This guy has sex with his girlfriend. She gets impregnated by this thing, rips the thing out of her because she has this like special like giant space pod thing because they're being sponsored by like some billionaire or whatever. And so like she gets this thing like C-sectioned out of her, and it's like this squid-like thing, which ends up growing exponentially. And then that like they find the thing, I forget what the creators is what they're calling it because that's what they were in search of, was the creators, and the creators were the beings that created humans. And so then the essentially the new squid thing that came that's part human like did like inserted itself with the creature or with the creator. And so like I don't know, there's a lot of human DNA in these xenomorphs. Let me just put it out there. These facehuggers, these xenomorphs have a lot of human DNA because they come from us. That's essentially the gist of what I got.
That was the worst like new religion you've ever tried to preach me on. That like that creation, like what? I believe you. I believe what you're saying. I you know what? I'll watch Prometheus tonight. I'll watch Prometheus tonight, and then I'm going to text you and be like, "What just happened?" I feel like
I
so.
mean, hopefully it'll help
So
you understand Romulus a little bit more, but also that's
and
why
that
the
happened on the
creature,
planet.
yeah,
That
that
happened on the
happened.
planet that they go to on Alien One.
No,
No,
this
different
is
planet. Okay.
this is a different planet.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what happened for them to end up. I don't think that was actually, I don't know. I there are so many things. I have to look something up. No, they're very different planets because this one had like plant life on it.
It is a different planet. So
You can type faster than me.
LV-223 is in Prometheus and LV-426 in
426.
Alien.
Yeah, so I don't know how they got to LV-426. But
Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, they are the perfect organism. Like, actively, all of these synthetics talk about how perfect the xenomorph is. I mean, it survived the cold death of space by itself, apparently. And then they can. I don't know how an alien queen is formed. I don't know if there's like a special face hugger. I don't know if there's like the xenomorph just like can do it itself. But like, that's what, like, I don't know how,
I
like,
feel like it has to be able to do itself because it has to be able to, it's got to be asexual in some form because if the original xenomorph there wasn't two, so it either was already impregnated when it was born, which still makes it asexual. So I don't know what I'm saying. Like it has to be asexual. So maybe it can like become whatever it needs to be. And also, I think they mentioned in this maybe that it can metabolize, and which is why we see different growth cycles for these things.
it's really interesting because like I think I have to agree. Like, yeah, it must be like the aliens themselves have a way to do it and stuff like that. And I just don't truly understand unless, because like those little things that the facehuggers came out of, they were just like vacuum sealed, right? That wasn't like making them, right?
Well, those were eggs. Like those were the eggs. So like the
Yeah, they just
xenomorph,
cut out the parts and they had the in Romulus because like the heating up like let these guys out.
yeah, yeah.
So it's very interesting with that because like there's got to be. I mean, obviously, I don't know xenomorph more like biology. I just like, we just got to this place. Like, it's over here. Shit. Okay, so I just found it. Rook explains the facehugger origins on the Renaissance in Alien Romulus. They reverse engineered the xenomorph DNA and they basically 3D printed facehuggers. That's
That's
the
why there were
dumb.
so many of them. Wow. Okay.
So they
What were they just gonna like release them amongst humans and be
so they
like,
basically extracted the what he called the big chap, the original alien's DNA. So they got the black goo and stuff like that. And I guess from that, it doesn't just make a xenomorph right away. It makes a face hugger that needs another because it's not a symbiote, it's a parasite. So yeah, and it needs the human DNA to create the xenomorph probably oh my god. So yeah, the Renaissance crew were used to create more xenomorphs. Yeah. Dude, Wayland Yutani is that company is just messed up, bro.
I don't know what I mean, I know they're trying to like create like genetically engineer a better human, but also why did you need so many face huggers to do that?
But
That
like
part didn't make sense to me.
I feel like the better human apparently, but for Wayland Yutani is just more xenomorphs. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they just consume
Yeah, like
forever.
you can't really weaponize them because they're literally it's like when they did it's like Jurassic Park with the raptors. Like they're just gonna attack. They're gonna attack you. Like
That's a good one. Just stay back. Stay back,
yeah.
xenomorphs. Get Chris Pratt over here, like,
Yeah,
stop.
right. Well, there is a scene in Alien Resurrection where I'm literally like, this looks like they just took Jurassic Park with the raptors and just just like took the CGI from that and just put xenomorph faces over it. The way that they like looked at each other and interacted, I was like, these look like raptors. What are we doing
That's
here?
hilarious. How
Um,
well, like I feel like we're not even jumping around this movie that much. We're just kind of like
yeah,
talking about the backstory as
yeah.
we both as I learned the
Well, because
backstory of Alien.
like it's kind of important for this movie though because like the between the goo and the science that they were doing and then the creature at the inevitably at the very end, which is why I'm like, how are we and like there's so much human DNA in xenomorphs already that like how are we like the girl was pregnant and they put more in it and it like created an egg somehow, which I don't know how her
They did not.
whatever.
Okay, we can talk about that scene now if you'd like. This.
Okay, the thing that pissed me off about that scene, if we're gonna talk about
Okay.
it,
Yes. No. Go for
she
it.
was
Go for it.
cryo frozen. How is she going into labor? Like if Sigourney Weaver Ripley can be in a cryo freezer for 50 years and not change and have nothing happen to her, and she also froze people who were injured, and their injuries aren't supposed to like it's just supposed to freeze them in that time. So how is she going into labor? There's
I don't.
no way that she
I
went
think
into
that.
labor.
I think they were trying to cryo freeze, but I think it was probably already too late because she was out for a while. She stabbed herself with that black stuff like a while beforehand.
Yeah,
But
but she,
it sped that up. It's like the black goo mixed with the thing.
yeah,
And do you know who play in the
yeah,
IMDb? It writes the person as Offspring is the
yeah.
name of that
He was 7 foot
hybrid.
7. Yeah.
His name is Robert Bobrozik. I can't say this last name. Bobrozicki. Robert Bobrzynski. He is very tall. He is 7 foot 7, like you said. He's only 24 years old. I think he did great because like he obviously he's tall, which helps, but like for the scariness factor. But like I thought the movements in which he was making to like because he still has to act, like he still has to like portray this monstrous thing. I thought he did wonderful. I thought he did really good. I don't think he's done other roles. I think this might be his first one. Yeah, he's just got this. I think he did fantastic, dude. I hope they cast him as more like scary things instead of just Bill Skarsgård for everything.
Yeah, right.
Like I
Yeah,
think he
no,
did great.
I think he did great as well. Yeah, no, it was very the practical or the practical effects they put on him made him just look terrifying. The creature that was created was just
The
not
feeding on the mom was kind of interesting.
so yeah, the director of this is the director of Don't Breathe, which I don't know if you ever saw that movie. It's another horror
Nope,
movie.
never seen it.
There is a
I like when you ask me these things as if I've seen anything
I
that
just
you
have to
don't tell me.
ask just in case, but essentially like it's this movie where these people break into a blind guy's home and they have to like he's very good with the senses because of that and it turns out
I
that he like
have seen that one.
have you really?
I have seen that one.
And there's
Yeah.
the weird thing with the turkey baster at the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this director. So if that helps you make a little bit more sense with some of the scenes,
I don't like what my brain's doing for it, honestly.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, like the scene with the face hugger and you're kind of like, did we need to show it like that? And then there was another scene uh like I feel like
I think it adds the scary part though.
I think it sexualized a
But
lot of it, to be completely
I
frank.
um so I guess the sexualization of it, I don't see it as sexual. I think of it more of a like a the scary side of the sex and like things like that. And so I think he's trying to pervert the sex thing to horror. I guess that I think that's the idea. I didn't like it. Let me be clear here. But like it's a horror movie. I'm supposed to be kind of, in my opinion, I thought horror movies are supposed to make me like that. I could have done without. Very much could have done without.
That kind of movie to include like there were like three scenes in particular. For some reason, there's one I can't think of, but the one with the face hugger when they're pull like it goes in and then pulls it out, like it looked a little bit too much like another appendage, and I
I
just
did not
didn't.
make that connection, but I can see why.
Yeah, I saw it in the previews, and I was like, I don't like that. It looks too much.
I see. Okay, I didn't. In the moment, I was just like,
It does make me cringe. Like, and if that's the factor you want to go for, that's great. But it should if you should be cringing through the whole movie and not just through certain scenes. And then like when it came to the offspring and its mother, I thought I almost feel like they cut that scene, whatever happened to her, because I feel like that was also going to be sexual. Um,
oh, he just like ripped into her neck and like drank blood or whatever.
you think it was her neck because they didn't show it.
I think so. Because like when she comes around the corner, his head is like near her neck. Like I think almost like vampiric in a sense.
Yeah, my brain went somewhere else, but yeah.
God, I hope not. That'd be really weird. But I mean, they are alien monsters. I don't know. I really don't know. They've never really portrayed the xenomorphs as like a sexual being.
No, but it just I don't know. It those there was a third scene and I can't think of it that I didn't like.
There was a bit of intimacy to it, but like let me go back up. All of these people dying totally makes sense. They were all idiots. Like every single person on this crew. Navarro, the pilot that got the xenomorph in her. I don't know why she was there. She was useless. Her dying like that made total sense. Bjorn needed to die. He was useless. The leader, Tyler, Archie Renault, great acting again. A terrible leader. Rain was the only one that's like, guys, this might be a bad idea. And then she just kind of got stuck there because they put that chip in Andy, and Andy, he tried, man.
I think the actor did an amazing job portraying
Oh,
like both versions of him.
fantastic. Oh my God. That was probably a really fun role.
Yeah, no, because I mean, like that's something where you get to be the same person but have different like ends of the spectrum and then be able to uh I don't know, just like having those difficult decisions. Like, because you could tell that like he was just like, no, this is what's right. And this is how we do this. This is my objective. And it's just yeah, he did an amazing job.
Like, very well done for that. He was the most fun character to watch. Like, I thought it was really cool to watch like the internal struggle of Andy, and they did really good with that. They really ramped up quickly. Like, they showed the company being a terrible person like right away. They showed when she's like, I have enough hours and this, and they were like, they just doubled it or whatever. I was like, wow, this place sucks. And I'm like, what are they doing to you, Miss Officer Lady? Because you're probably not getting paid well either. So why are you being a douchebag to everyone else? And like that planet was polluted as heck. It's just they're just mining They're just mining minerals out of that planet, and then they're gonna freaking leave it. Like that's all that planet's good for, and they're just keeping people there forever. And I'm just like, it's very reminiscent of, I don't know if you know anything about Warhammer 40,000.
I don't know very much.
It's a big lore heavy universe, but it's like miserable to live in some places. Okay. And so like, but they have like, I forget what they're called. I forget what kind of cities they are, but on the bottom of it is just people in the misery and working and stuff. And that's what it was reminiscent of to me. It's like, this planet is just here to be worked. These people are here to die. They're not even treated as people really. Like this, so these kids wanting a better life, it makes sense. They're idiots, but it makes sense. So like I was like, okay, I can understand what's going on. I thought there was a very clear story and plot to this. And so like everything worked out, and I thought the Easter eggs from Alien were really good, but I think if you hadn't watched it and you just watched this, you could still be fine. Like I didn't see Prometheus, and like the movie was fine. Like yeah, like I don't think I lost. I would have had more thoughts to it, but I think I took away what I needed to from the movie. Besides the 3D printing facehuggers, that's the dumbest thing I've ever, like, not as in like it's dumb to the story. It makes sense for this company. It's just like, why, bro? And then everyone dies. Like everyone on the spaceship is dead because like, oh, that was rough. And that's what I have to say for that. Like I like overall, I think I prefer Romulus to Aliens.
Really?
I do. I think the writing and the plot progression made more sense. I think Aliens, they kind of rushed a lot in parts of it to me.
Hmm. I don't know. I personally I liked Aliens better than Alien Romulus, but I think part of it is because there's just so much of the lore. Like I think in Aliens they were still just world building, and so like a lot of it
Oh,
made sense.
absolutely.
And then with Romulus, like you have to do a lot of thinking. Like, and I do feel like a lot of the things that happen to every single character was just pulled from the other movies. Like I felt like it wasn't original in that aspect. And then I personally think there were some things that were over sexualized in this movie that could have like been filmed differently or edited differently to not give it that nature. And like it's fine if you want to make me cringe, but like why does it have to like look like this or look like that? Like I mean, I was just doing a little bit of Googling, like some people are literally calling like one of the walls in one of the scenes like a wall pussy. Like that was birthing an alien head. So that's probably the scene that I was thinking of, and I blocked it out because I don't thankfully don't remember that.
I I do think if they had just if they didn't have the birthing scene, I think I would have been okay. I didn't get wall pussy from any. Maybe my brain just doesn't go to those things. However, like if they didn't have that weird birthing scene and all of the blood, dude, oh my god, like honestly, look, if they didn't have that scene, really does do a lot to me because It's just like they did a lot of like body horror stuff in this movie. Actually, the reason I prefer this to Aliens, I'm totally cool with exposition and I like the world building of Aliens. I just thought Aliens, to me, because starting with Alien, I think Alien Romulus is most closely to Alien in the sense of like the horror and the sci-fi brought into it. Because and it's a world I don't know everything about. Aliens, I feel like really toned the sci-fi really down. Like so it's not as much of a sci-fi to me. It's more of just like here's a military action where nobody knows what they're doing. And so that's what that was to me. And that's why I prefer it.
Aliens kind of gives me like Starship Trooper vibes if it was a little bit more horror.
That's a great statement. Yep. And so that's why I prefer Alien Romulus. Among the three I've seen, Alien is still the number one, and then I would put Alien Romulus above Aliens, in my opinion. But it's not because I think Alien Romulus is like worlds better by any means. I just think it fits more into the genre of this series, in my opinion, than Aliens does. But if I'd only seen Alien and Aliens, I'd just be like, it feels like they're in two different
very different.
genres.
Like they don't even feel like the same movie. Like
Yeah, exactly.
you could have made the Xenomorph look different and you would have been like, this isn't even like not even remotely
Absolutely.
related. Yeah.
Absolutely. Where that's why I prefer Alien Romulus. I'm talking about strictly plot, strictly story, strictly pacing and stuff like that. There are, like I said, the scenes in Alien Romulus where I'm like, this seems a bit, and I'm like, we watched Alien from 1979 and Alien Romulus, and we can see how the horror genre has changed. I don't know if it's better. I don't know if the horror genre has gotten better. Like I liked the suspense of Alien to the straight in your face scary of Alien Romulus. My fiance is not going to be watching Alien Romulus. I told her very much she would not enjoy it. It is a bit too much for her.
Yeah. Oh yeah, everyone. Akash now has a fiance. So um yeah, that's exciting news that happened in between Alien and Alien Romulus. So
Yeah, it actually is, and I hate that sentence. I hate that sentence so much. I promise I won't go on any spaceships. I will not 3D print face huggers. God, dude, I don't know what more to say than that. What are your thoughts? Like, you enjoy the world building and things like that, but like, what are your thoughts with this, with just these three movies? Or I guess you've seen a bunch more of them. What are your thoughts with like this world with Alien Romulus being the jumping on point for a lot of people?
well, I feel like I mean, hopefully they don't start with just Alien Romulus. I mean, like if they do, I do think it is like a good start, but I think that there's obviously Alien is the best. Like it's still, I think you and I can agree on that, that like that stands as the best one. And I think it's great to start with that one, especially because the older films, like I've like some people have a harder time getting into them just because it's a different style of filming, it's a different style of acting, and horror itself is different as well. Alien, I just feel like is world different than the rest of the franchise, just the way that they built the xenomorphs, the way that just the way that they had to create this movie to make it work. I talked about this in the first podcast about like the different angles. They really only showed the full xenomorph at one point, and even then it wasn't like full scale. And I enjoyed that because it still gave you a little bit of like fear, but like in this, like you could see them, like they literally did the anti-gravity and you could see like three or four of them. Like it just felt too bright to me in comparison to Alien.
Yeah,
um
that actually I didn't think of that.
yeah, like it's so like all the little details and things that I loved about the first movie that made me like really 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 enjoy Alien is not in anything going forward, because so much of it now is about the story and where are we driving this, and it just they've, as far as like the way that I watched it in the order that they were released.
Hmm. I know
Again,
Alien versus Predator is basically its own universe, though. That doesn't
yeah,
actually
I didn't
track.
even watch either of those because I was like, I don't, if I do that, then I have to get into Predator and I'm not ready for it right now.
I assume that's the next series we're going to be doing, me and you.
We might take a little break. Maybe we might go for some happy stuff. But
Oh,
like
thank God.
it's just like they were constantly changing directors, and people who scored the music. So they were all just kind of all over the place. As far as that goes, obviously the first four were in a sequential timeline, and then they did Prometheus, which brought back Ridley Scott. They did that, and then they did Alien Covenant, which was the sequel to Prometheus, which is still a prequel.
Alien Covenant. Oh, this came out in 2017. I've never
Mhm.
heard of this.
Yeah, and I think they're supposed to release the third one because it's a trilogy. But then they did Alien Romulus, which the guy who did direct this did consult Ridley Scott a lot on this, and I believe Ridley Scott produced this movie, if I'm not correct. Um, but so like there is like a lot. That's one thing I do like, is that like even though like I do feel like it's a little unoriginal to pull a lot of the same deaths from the other movies, and the things that happened, but it was still very much like showed us a lot of the Alien franchise that we did love about it. And I do think I like some of the anti-gravity scene was cool. The being chased by a swarm of face huggers was really cool as well. I don't like that they added in the fact that like they could do the body heat thing. I was like, isn't that Predator's thing? Like, isn't that Predator's whole thing that like he can detect people by their body temperature, and now face huggers are that way too?
I didn't know that's how predators work.
I only know about that because of Family Guy. Um, did you
Amazing.
did you expect me to say anything else? That's how I learned about Alien. That's how I learned about Predator. Like, let's
I was just looking up this Ridley Scott third. Apparently, they call it the Prometheus 3. And so sometimes called Alien Awakening. Yeah, I don't know when it's coming out, but apparently it'll. I don't want to like see any spoilers, but like apparently there's not much known.
Yeah, I just know because in the first Prometheus and Covenant that Michael Fassbender is in both of those. Which
I love
speaking,
Michael Fassbender.
yeah, he's great and he does a great job in both movies. I didn't like I said, Prometheus was very well made. Like as far as like after watching Alien 3 and Alien Resurrection, and then you go to Prometheus, you're like, wow, this is nice. Like this, like look at the quality. Like they really put their time into this, but then you're kind of bored the whole time. You're like, this is pretty, but there's not much else to
This
it.
is pretty. That's
Well,
it.
wait,
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
okay, but I am
I'm gonna
kind of
watch it. I'll watch it. I'll watch Prometheus.
well,
Here.
you kind of gotta watch the horrible alien movies and they go to Prometheus because you will literally be like, wow, this quality is amazing. They've got like Michael Fassbender, Charlize Theron, Idris Elba is in it. Like
Damn, these are some names you're
massive
saying.
names. Yeah. Um, none of it's gonna matter except for Michael Fassbender. But yeah, it's and then like Covenant was good. It better than Alien 3 and 4. But
I
it
mean,
I
Prometheus made money though.
oh yeah. I mean, I think I saw it twice, but I think I fell asleep the second time. But I also had no clue what was going on because I'd never seen any alien movie.
Oh, true.
So
I
I
just
was
looked it
like,
up.
yeah,
It grossed 403 million against a budget of 130.
nice. It does have a 7 out of 10 rating on IMDb. So it's like it's not a bad movie. Just as far as Alien goes, there's not very much that's scary. There's a little bit of body horror. Like I said, she has a C-section done on her. Um, but other than that, like
Alien
there's
Romulus is about to break a record, by the way.
what record? Like for Alien?
It's only 3 million shy. As of 2 days ago, it's only 3 million shy of some massive international milestone. Dude, Alien Romulus's budget is only 80 million. It's grossed over 200 already. Yeah, it's like 3 million short of passing.
I just want to say at the beginning of this year, I called it that horror was going to have its year. And I like it may not be the best horror movies ever, but it's brought people to the theaters, I think.
So right now, the highest grossing movie to date is Prometheus in the franchise of 400 is currently held by Prometheus with 403 million. That means Romulus has the highest grossing crowning if Crown as the highest grossing horror film could be stolen by wow, yeah, so it could be the highest grossing horror film in decades. So if it does this, because it only came out a little bit ago, like we're recording this fairly quickly after it came out. It is set to reach another milestone overseas, 3 million closing 200 million currently, blah 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 blah. Yeah, it's 11 million shy of passing the 300 million mark. And so if it does with that, yeah, it could be. Oh my god, yeah, that's crazy. Like, good job, Romulus. Like, we have our issues with it, but like overall, good movie.
Yeah. No, and I think they did a great job of like bringing in I think having a younger cast was like
Totally
smart
helped.
because it'll bring in the younger crowd, get the new generation in on the um on the
Alien Next
franchise
Generation.
because yeah, pretty much like Degrassi, but you know,
Yeah,
the next generation.
I was thinking more
Uh
Star Trek, but Degrassi works, I guess.
Thank you for everyone who listened to our rambles. If you like this rambling about movies, go ahead and like, subscribe, rate us, watch us on the other platforms as well to bring those ratings.
Tell us what to watch. Take control of this podcast. Overthrow the regime.
overthrow the regime. Let us know what you want us to ramble about next.
Good
All
morning,
right.
good evening, and good afternoon, everyone.
All right. Bye.
We do
Are
not
they
need to talk about
are they
Laserdiscs anymore.
functioning though? Like, are they,
I have really sent you down a rabbit hole here.
yes.
I
Yeah,
was
just
just trying to make a joke.
I literally just well, I had never heard of them. I'm sorry, I was born
No,
in
no, you're
the
good. You're good.
90s.
I didn't think they would be common knowledge, but like, yeah, I guess Aliens is one of the top selling laser discs or something like
I
that.
mean, technically, isn't a DVD a laser disc because they use lasers anyways? It's just a smaller form of that name.
I don't. Yeah, sure. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I'm not a laser disc engineer. I don't have stock in laser disc or anything.
I would hope not. I don't think they're doing very well.